welcome back to the next episode of Ghost Storying. I'm psychic medium Amy Shuford, and these are my tales of my personal experiences when encountering spirit, both the spooky and the spiritual, sometimes just going about my everyday life as a medium. So gather around the virtual campfire and let's get started. This particular location that I chose to have in today's episode, this particular encounter happened in South Carolina at Hopsawee Plantation. And I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure though. This was built sometime around, I think originally 1790, something like that. And one of you asked me, well, a lot of you asked me this particular question, but somebody asked me specifically to cover it in a video. And that is, why do sometimes at locations you have a lot of encounters, or any other medium? And I'm just going to speak for myself, and I may not even have all the answers for that. And then how come in other places where, you're not expecting anything, there's lots of activity, encounters, and a lot of this honestly is specific to the people who are there having the experience. And I know this only from my own experience. But sometimes I don't know the rhyme or the reason to it. I can just see sometimes in hindsight why someone had a specific encounter. So I don't know if that really answers your question or not. However, in this location, I can tell you at the time, I was very worried about having encounters. As a psychic medium or anyone who is an empath, which I also am, anyone who is sensitive, it is very daunting. And I would think for all souls, period, to come to a place such as a plantation with the kind of energy that was there, right? We all know some of the horrible things that took place. And believe me, I didn't want to see them. I was really worried about that. And if I were to go back now, I would be more equipped spiritually to deal with things. There are things I still would not want to see. It's like going to a battlefield, If you've seen the Gettysburg episode, if you haven't, go back and watch that. But a hospital, anywhere where there's a lot of people coming in and coming out, just the initial anticipation is a lot. But in my spiritual journey, I now understand that what I would and do encounter at places will only be for my best use spiritually, or that in which I can use to help others. And that I needn't fear. I talk a lot about the difference between fear and being startled. But I definitely went into it having fears and thinking I'm either going to be completely shut down, or it could be really not good. So I was here doing research in the area, the time period in the late 1700s, and I'm going to put, I think, in the community something about that, because I'm at the space where I'm going to ask for some help on that research. So I'm at the place and space that I can mentally and spiritually, where I'm going to ask for some assistance in that research. And obviously I think I need assistance in how to do this YouTube thing, because that other video cut off really quick. But I'll put that in the community notes. So here we are at this plantation, and I was so nervous on the way there. But upon arrival, and this was years ago, I don't know, it had to be, I don't know, probably 6 years ago at least. Anyhow, once we got there, we being my sister, because she has 2 degrees in history, 3, I don't know, at least a master's and a bachelor's, okay? But once we got there, I really felt more comforted. I was still nervous going into different buildings, and we spent the night there, and I was really worried about sleeping. But this is one of those where you don't always have the encounters that you expect. They meaning spirit, really took care of me as we walked these grounds, and we went by and through the particular locations. We didn't have a tour, which now they have a lot of different educational things, which I would probably like to do. But we went around to all the different buildings, and we did ask the person who was like the caretaker about some of the different buildings, what were original, what wasn't. And my first encounter was actually quite pleasant, and it was at the church. So here is the church. This was the slave church, and at this big beautiful tree, I was grounding myself. And I, as I recall, I was walking around the building, and like some of the buildings, we were touching the doors to see if they were unlocked or not, because they weren't having tours or whatever. And God bless this woman. It just makes me very emotional. She was so kind to me. This woman who at that time in that life was a slave, and she beckoned me in, and she invited me. She said, "Come worship with us." And I went in the church fully expecting to see a whole bunch of people, which I didn't, but I just felt comforted. And although I did not see other people, you can feel. I know that some of you who follow me are sensitives, and you feel spirit around you. Sometimes catch a glimpse. I know I have a lot of empaths that follow me as well. And the feeling, you can feel their feelings. And so that is more of what the experience was for me at this particular part. And I was so grateful for that. So grateful for her kindness to me. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and let's meet weekly around the virtual campfire. So here's a picture of the inside of the church. And the light shining in. Let me know if you have any impressions from this. So the only other encounter that I had here at the plantation was a lady to be clear. And yeah, she didn't like me. It was a very creepy, it was like spirit also communicates through feelings, in which those feelings you can translate to words. The best way I can describe it. So she didn't speak to me. I didn't see her full figured, in front of me or in my head. She wasn't standing there like the woman at the church, like the churchgoer. But it was disapproval. And I don't know how it translates really to find the human word to go with it, but she just told me betrayal. That's what she was feeling with me being there. Interesting. Very interesting. So here at Hopswe Plantation, it's one of those examples for me where I anticipated and at the time had the fear of having just a lot of experiences, and none of them good. Where in reality, I really only had 2 encounters. So again, there's lots of reasons for that. I know I wasn't ready. But also for those of you who, I know some of y'all are doing paranormal investigations, or fans of watching that. And some people don't realize that, and I can say, I have some in my family who is that way. They're like, oh yeah, they went through this whole thing, and they had one encounter. Well, sometimes that's how it is. That's just how it is. And any television show or video, if somebody's doing YouTube investigations or on TikTok or whatever that they're doing, it's a lot of footage to go through and edit those live events because people may not find the reality of it being entertaining. It's a hurry up and wait kind of thing. Or when sometimes I'll have encounters and people are like, oh, I really wish I could have that. And sometimes I'm like, no, you don't. Other times it's great. But that is just how it is. And I don't know all the reasons for that. But I know, just as in life, when we are here on this earth, how we relate to different people and different situations. And sometimes we see parts of ourselves in different people. And we gravitate towards them, whether that's to be friends with, associates, or, through your schools, or maybe it's watching a certain actor, or just anyone that might influence you in something you like to do. You see something in them that you can relate to. And that's just sometimes how it works in the spirit world. So thank you for joining me, and continue giving me your feedback. This channel is very young. I do appreciate you guys sending me messages on whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, here on YouTube, or those of you who know me in person, and letting me know what you enjoy seeing and what you would like to see in the future, because we can definitely do that. And I will be having some on location videos coming up, where I talk about encounters, and I will physically be there again where they took place. So thank you. I love you all, and I'll see you next time.